Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show. And today I'm going to be focusing on the Western Conference playoffs. Excuse me. I'm going to give you a full breakdown, a full comprehensive breakdown of my entire predictions all the way to the championship round. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on this video. But before I get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Remember, we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. And also make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Another thing worth noting is that this show is going to be on the Dreamerspro Podcast, which is on Spotify. We're going to put that in the link in the description below. And also, if you're watching this video, I want you to watch it to the very end and make sure you watch the part 2 of the Eastern Conference breakdown so you guys don't miss that. So you get the full breakdown on everything that we want to cover. Now, again, excuse me, I have a bit of a cold, but so just bear with me while I try to get through my playoff predictions here. So before we start, let's just talk about where we left off the standings in the Western Conference. Okay, in the first seed, the Lakers have the number 1 seed with a 52-19 record. Then you have the Los Angeles Clippers with a 49-23 record. Then you have the Denver Nuggets with a 46-27 record. Then you have the Houston Rockets at the number 4 seed with a 44-28 record. Then right after them, with the exact same record, is the Oklahoma City Thunder, led by Chris Paul, with a 44-28 record. Then you have the Utah Jazz coming in at the number 6 seed with the same record of 44 wins and 28 losses. Then we have the Dallas Mavericks, who haven't been to the playoffs in quite some time, with a 43-32 record. And then we have the Portland Trail Blazers, who were pretty much able to just, bully their way to the 8th seed. And I think when they came into the Orlando bubble, they were probably the number 9 seed. So they were able to fight and claw their way into the playoffs. And as you know, they were able to win the play-in tournament game, in which they only needed to win 1 game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Memphis Grizzlies essentially needed to beat them 2 times. So they were able to beat them, and they secured the number 8th seed. So now you guys know all of the seeds. You know how we have the full playoff picture. And remember, I was saying for the last, let's say, week and a half that I didn't want to do a prediction video until I knew all of the seedings were finalized. So now that we do know, let me just give you guys my breakdown and let me do my predictions. Okay, and there's a kid outside crying, so excuse that. I don't know what happened to the kid. But anyway, in round 1, we have the Portland Trailblazers versus the Lakers. Then we have the Rockets versus the Thunder. Then we have the Denver Nuggets versus the Jazz. And we have the Clippers versus the Mavs. So in the Portland Trailblazers-Lakers first round matchup, okay, some people are picking Portland to upset the Lakers. Some people have the Lakers, but in my opinion, I think that this series is going to go 6 games, and I have the Lakers advancing to the second round. I don't have Portland beating the Lakers because, yes, they're a sensational team when it comes to scoring, but they don't play that much defense, and I think Anthony Davis and LeBron James are going to wear them out as time goes on in the series. Also, the fact that CJ McCollum is dealing with a back injury, I think is going to play a role. But I think that the Lakers are just going to be able to wear them down as time goes on. And I think LeBron is going to be able to figure out a way to sort of, pull out the win. So in this series, I have the Lakers coming out of that series, the Portland Trail Blazers versus Lakers series, and I have them winning that series in 6 games. So at the end of this video, you guys will let me know everything you think about my predictions, and you can give me your brackets in the comment section. Then we have the Rocket versus Thunder, okay? In that matchup, I'm going to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 games. Some of you guys may be surprised at that. You may be saying, but how you're going to pick Chris Paul against James Harden? In this particular matchup, I'm going to go with Chris Paul. Now, I know that the Houston Rockets have some issues as far as health with Russell Westbrook. But in this particular instance, even if he was healthy, my gut is telling me to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder just because of the leadership of Chris Paul, and something about this matchup tells me that OKC can pull it out. So I have the Houston Rockets coming out of that series. Now, The third series that we have is the Denver Nuggets against the Utah Jazz. I think these two teams are pretty close, especially with talent and everything else. So I have the Denver Nuggets winning that series in 7 games because Nikola Jokic, I hope I'm pronouncing his name properly. He's just a monster matchup, man. He's just a really great post big man that can pass out a double team, that sees the court really well. He has a pretty calm demeanor to the way he plays his game, and I think they have a balanced attack. They have a great half-court offense that they have there with the Denver Nuggets. So I have the Nuggets winning that series in 7 games. And finally, we have the Clippers and the Mavs. Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player, so I'm going to be rooting for the Clippers in this series. And I have the Clippers beating the Mavericks in 5 games. I have the Clippers advancing to the conference semifinals in 5 games and beating them. So now let's move to the semifinals. Okay, the semifinals, we have the Lakers versus the Thunder, and we have the Nuggets versus the Clippers. Okay, in the conference semifinals, against the Lakers and the Thunder, I'm going to go with the Lakers in 6 games. I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be able to get 2 games off the Lakers, but I think in the end, the Lakers are going to be able to beat OKC. Again, I think the playoffs a lot of times has to do with matchups, okay? I think the Portland Trailblazers are going to be a tough matchup for the Lakers, but I think that even though I'm giving the OKC, I'm giving them 2 games off the Lakers, I still think that it's going to be an easier 6 games than the other 2. I think than the other series. I think Portland is going to make it really, really competitive and an up and down game for the Lakers. But in this series, I have the Lakers advancing in 6 games. Now, with the Denver Nuggets and the Clippers, I see that series going 5 games, and I think the Clippers are going to win that series again in the gentleman's sweep in 5 games. I saw them play each other at the end of the regular season. The Clippers, when they're clicking on all cylinders, and I think by that time they're going to have all their players back fully healthy with Patrick Beverley and Montrezl Harrell, who are already in the bubble. But I think the Clippers are just too deep. And I think the Clippers are going to come at teams in waves. Okay, they're going to come at teams in waves. And that by that time, by the second round, I think Kawhi Leonard is going to be in complete playoff mode. I expect him to be firing on all cylinders. I expect all of them to have. I expect the first round for them to iron out all the wrinkles they may have in their offense and their defense against the Mavs. Now, it is important to say that Kristaps Porzingis is going to be a pretty tough matchup for them, but I think they're going to be able to solve him, and I think he's going to be one of the most difficult matchups, on their way to the championship round. So, I have the Lakers beating the Thunder in 6 games, and I have the Clippers beating the Nuggets in 5 games. Now, let's move to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, this is the one that we've all been waiting for. And I have the Lakers versus the Clippers, right? I think some of you guys, when you do your brackets, it probably come out similarly, or you may end up with the Lakers and the Clippers in the end, depending on how you do it. But anyway, in this series, okay, unlike Shannon Sharp, unlike Skip Bayless, unlike Max Kellerman, I don't think this series is going to go 7. I'm picking the Clippers to win this series in 6 games. Okay, I'm picking them to win in 6 games simply because I believe that they have the best player. They will have the best player in the Western Conference in Kawhi Leonard. I definitely think that Kawhi Leonard will be the best player in that series. I think he's going to outplay LeBron, and I think he's going to outplay Anthony Davis as time goes on. I think when he gets into his playoff bag, I think he is going to be a nightmare. And you saw what he was able to accomplish last season in the playoffs. So I think we're just going to see another dosage of that. He has more help. This time he has more firepower, to be quite honest with you. So I just see Kawhi Leonard being able to put his imprint on this series. And I have the Clippers coming out of this series in 6 games, beating the Lakers in 6 games. And I think the Clippers are going to be able to make their first finals appearance this year in the 2020 season. So this is how my brackets break down in the Western Conference. I know some of you guys are going to agree with me. Some of you guys are going to disagree with me. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, guys, because remember, we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. and also hit the notification bell. You can also check out this episode on Spotify because we have that in the link in the description below. And also watch our Eastern Conference prediction video that we have somewhere. We're going to have somewhere at the end of this video. So make sure you guys watch that so you get the full breakdown of the entire playoff prediction. So once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and a fun playoffs. Peace.